So I'm curious, Jonsi, obviously people listening know you from Sigur Rós, not to be confused with Sigur Rós. And I'll just add a little personal anecdote that I listen to Sigur Rós, and I'm the type of person who listens to a song until everyone around me is upset with me. Like if I like a song, I just listen. And I'm going to butcher the pronunciation, so please correct me. But Sjalglupor, that was like my anthem when I was like in my room in high school. Like if I was feeling sad, I was just like playing that on repeat. So it's so cool to meet you in person because I genuinely admire the music and love it. And so thank you. And
I just see you all emo and
stick around long enough.
Headbanging.
What are you doing after this? Yeah, I have long hair if you need a headbanger. I'm curious, what got you into fragrance? Was that after music, and what was that process like for you?
I mean, yeah, it was definitely way after music, I guess. But yeah, I don't know. I just always been obsessed with smells, and like everybody are, I guess, in their own way. But then you start, tinkering with essential oils, and like perfumes are all too much. They're too intense and too weird, too florally, too like grandma or something, too like horrible. So you kind of want to make something your own.
Yeah, horrible. Yeah.
And you start with essential oils, and then you just, there's you only can go up to a certain point with essential oils, because you kind of lack some of the, I don't know, depth of like perfume
maybe
sometimes.
nuances.
Yeah. And then you discover there's a whole world there of aroma molecules that are out there, which I just had no idea about. Then you kind of dive into that, and then you just become upset. Upset.
And upset,
Become
probably.
really upset
Probably
by
both
it.
at the same time.
And obsessed.
Yeah.
And and you just I think you have to be a little bit obsessed with scents to be a perfumer, because it's so difficult. It's such a weird path to go down, because it's so complex and difficult. So you have to be obsessed with it.
When did it go from feeling like this is a hobby and a thing that you're really passionate about, tinkering on your own time, to I am a perfumer, I'm going to put out number 23, this is a brand?
I'm still not a perfumer.
Do you not call yourself a perfumer?
No. You call me a perfumer, but
Yes, he is a perfumer.
I just feel like it's just so intense school. I was reading some interview with some perfume, like really famous perfumers, and they were talking together about being a perfumer, and they were saying, it's like when you're like finally happy with something. If you make a perfume, like you have been in this business for like 25 years, then you're like finally happy with something you do. And I feel like it's so right. I've been doing it for like 16 years, and I'm like never happy with anything I do.
Hopefully the ones that are out you're happy with, right? You're like, comme ci, comme ça.
I think we kind of forced his hand with the first one, because like
Okay.
he was always letting us smell everything he was doing, and we were just like, it's amazing, like I want to wear it. And sometimes we got a little tiny vial, but then we smelled number 23, and we were just like, okay, Jonsi, now you need to stop. This is amazing, we need to release this. And so it was kind of on us as well, that we just kind of forced his hand.
So an existential question for all of you then. What makes a perfume good? Let's start with Lilia.
I mean, of course, like that's, people have different opinions of what is good. But what I think makes an exceptional perfume is like the story behind it. I'm a sucker for like storytelling in perfume. And like that is something Jonsi does so well. And the thing is with smell, like when you smell something with scents, it's so abstract, and sometimes like people smell a perfume and they get like 1 or 2 notes, but of course it's much more complex. It has like maybe 60 or oils or 70, and that's why I love the poem that Jonsi wrote, that accompany the perfumes. It's like the story in a poem to kind of guide people what they're smelling. So I love that when there is like a story behind the
story
scent.
that matches the scent. And what do you think, Inga?
I kind of like as I use the FISCHERSUND scent, it's kind of like they kind of enhance your current state. Like if I want to be like don't talk to me and I'm alone, I like use like number 54, then I'm in this cocoon of just like a dark scent. And if I need some energy and like brightness, I spray number 8 on me. And I think it's such a good perfume is if it takes you to like the state you want to be in, kind of.
That's interesting because it's like perfume has a bit of a function for you.
Yeah.
And do you agree with that, Jonsi, or disagree?
Yes, and just authenticity. If it's like it has to have some kind of like soul, or like has a very kind of uniqueness or something. And I think that's also, why you make perfumes. You want to do something different and something what's out there, I guess.
Yeah.
And Rosa?
Yeah, it's a difficult question. It kind of depends on the day what like for me is a good perfume. But yeah, definitely, I don't know, I just well-rounded, so it has like all of the elements. It's sweet, it's salty, it's like smoky, it's fresh. But yeah, I'm more on the darker side, so I tend to gravitate towards those. But yeah, I kind of was going to say I like all scents and like most perfumes, but I like ours the best.
Well, I think it's a really interesting thing you bring up. Well, yes, great. Love that answer. But how are you, as artisans, how are you like looking at industry benchmarks? Like, are you seeing what's out on the market, and are you looking at what, classical perfumers are creating versus other artisanal perfumers? Like, how do you avoid creating in a vacuum, or do you create in a vacuum?
I love smelling perfumes, just all perfumes. And sometimes you go to when you're going through the airport, you like go to the duty free, and there's like endless disasters out there, but very well crafted. And I kind of love that. It's like creating a really good horrible pop song, but it sounds amazing, and the production is incredible, but the song sucks. And the same with perfume sometimes.
Tell us how you really feel.
Amazing craft and like technique, but the end product is kind of horrible. But I love smelling everything, so.
Yeah, I find it interesting to smell a lot of different perfumes, but I kind of also like to kind of be in my own bubble in Iceland and just like tinker and try and not be too focused on like correct methods of making a perfume. Like you have more like looked into like what works together, what doesn't. I'm just like throwing everything in a pot.
I like that.
Hope it works.
Wow.
And I think also like with me, coming more from the fine arts, I don't know any perfumes, like so, and I didn't actually. I thought I didn't like perfumes because I couldn't wear the kind of types of perfumes that you buy in an airport or something.
Actually, like, same for me. Yeah.
Yeah, but
I
when
never wore
Jonsi started
perfumes.
making his, like, then I found my lane. I was like, oh, I actually like this. Maybe because it was kind of a scent world that I connected more with, and that wasn't that also the reason why you started, because you hated all the perfumes out there.
Yes, definitely.
Which is a very good place to start, actually. Like take the matters into your own hands, and what I love about them being self-taught is like everything they do is so personal. Like it's just like what I like, what I'm influenced by.
And it's also just a lot of mistakes because we don't know anything.
Yes.
So a lot of mistakes and accidents. But sometimes those mistakes are amazing. And
and they lead to something perfect.
Yeah, so that's the same with music also. Like there's a lot of mistakes that happens in the studio or so when you're recording, but sometimes those mistakes are kept and like they are kind of amazing sometimes. So it's sometimes good to not to know too much.
Yeah, I think like the less you know about like the competition or what you don't know, the more creative you can be. And I know that Lilia, you were talking about how the poems are so inspiring and really set the scene for what people are smelling. And I thought it might be fun if you want to pick a fragrance or two in the FISCHERSUND line to take listeners through.
Definitely. Yeah, so one of our favorite is called number 54, and it's kind of inspired by our father's garage in Moselsberg in the countryside. And it was such a fantasy place for us. Like when you're a kid, it was like just filled with dangerous tools and and possibilities and and Papi was like fixing cars and building everything that needed to be built, and it was a very fun place to visit as a kid.
That does sound fun.
Yeah. So do you want to smell it?
Yes, I would love to.
So can you help me? Okay.
Do we have blotters?
We can use human skin if you'd like. I'm happy to
Yes.
volunteer.
Yeah.
Human skin.
Allegedly. Allegedly. Oh, should we all spray? This is so fun. We're having this like, for everybody listening at home, we've all just sprayed 54, all on all our left wrists. No? Right?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
So are you ready?
Right. I'm ready.
And now I want you all to close your eyes while I'm gonna read to you our memories of Papi's garage
Okay.
in Mosó. Fresh coat of wornness on a wooden shed, uprooted moss, wet dirt and vetiver roots, burnt car tires on hot asphalt and dry patchouli, heavy, slow-drying oil painting, Icelandic alpine fur, footsteps in frozen grass and soft licorice, dirty leather, animalistic musk and ammonia. Could you smell any of that?
I feel I feel like I need to put a caveat on this episode, like do not operate heavy machinery while listening, because I went in a trance there. I mean, it's just so beautiful, and I really feel all of those individual pieces, and you feel the oiliness of it, but you also feel the freshness of it. And I really do. I mean, I know I at the beginning was mentioning that I get like a charred feeling in your creations, but I do feel that freshness and that saltiness and like a little bit of brininess in so much of what you create. And I love that your father inspired that. That's so beautiful.